All right, we are back, and here we go. Part two. Really just sort of another episode, but um, let's go and get our lines in the water here, and then I can talk a little bit more about where we're fishing and what we're doing with this spot. So this is 8787. We fished this, what, 2 episodes ago? And one thing, we're being a little more systematic. We actually have size 24, 22, and 20 hook, red worms on all three, 8-meter hook. We're going for rough, and we're trying to just see how well we can do overnight. Just kind of fishing for rough here. I suspect we'll do pretty well silver wise in this spot, and then we'll go back and see how well we did overall with the fish that we caught last episode. We may have to delete a few fish according to how good the bite rate is here on the rough. Looks like we're getting our first nibble. And it's early enough that we could definitely hook into some perch. We want to be really careful about where our friction break is and make sure that we don't pop any of these, especially on that middle line, because we have a really expensive hook on the middle line. To be able to get a 22 hook, the only one that was in stock was this Berserk hook. So it's a nice hook. Ultimately, it's the type of hook that you do want to be using, but you know, it's so expensive that you probably don't get it too early in your leveling process. But we're getting to that point now, I guess, you know, where it's reasonable. As I try to eat my lunch. And sorry about that. I'm back. I was trying to get this started so that we could get the full night in. But then I've been working on several different videos, so I was needing to get a little bit of food as well. So already it's just been a great bite rate. In fact, one thing we need to check at the end of this episode is, are there even red worms available? You could do this with regular worms and still do really well. I don't know if you would do as well. The other difference we have that I haven't quite figured out, you know, kind of how to think about it or what I want to do with it, is we do have this one as basic bottom. So the middle rod is basic bottom. The other two are paternoster. Overall, this is perch probably. Overall, I think that paternoster seems to do really well. But I can't help but remember that trophy we caught last time we fished here for Ruffe was on the basic bottom, was on the middle rod. But now we have other differences too. We've got 3 different hook sizes. And we're okay if that fish gets away, by the way. I don't know. How do you not just go basic bottom after seeing that? That's twice we've gotten the trophy Ruffe on basic bottom. All right, that fish got away. We're actually happy about that. So red worm, I mean, what do we think that was? It could have been bream. It could have been common carp, small common carp. Doesn't really matter. I'm going to switch all these to basic bottom. That's 2 trophy Ruffe on basic bottom when we've only had 1 basic bottom out of the 3 set up. So we're going to switch to basic bottom for at least a couple minutes here, see if it seems like it's keeping up with a good bite rate. And if we need to adjust, we can. And remember, that was on the middle rod, so not only is it basic bottom, but it's also size 22 hook. So it's kind of the middle size hook. And we're just gonna have to watch how many fish we've caught. Just depends on what the bite rate is, but we may end up pushing up towards that 100 limit on our fish net. Couple more red worms. We need them. And if you're having a hard time keeping up with red worms, which if we did this very often, obviously we would have a hard time keeping up with red worms. Regular worms work really well. I think you are going to have a little bit better, probably silver per night average on red worms versus regular, but it'll be close. I mean, regular worms work fine. But you also, and there's another trophy Ruffe that comes out this same spot. You also can usually purchase red worms. Sometimes it's just a little bit pricey if the bottom, the cheapest selection, the 30 count, is out of stock. But if that's the case, we're making enough silver in spots like this that you could probably justify spending 100 silver on red worms if you're gonna fish for Ruffe several nights in a row, or just in general. I mean, red worms are always good to have if you continue to like level and play for long periods of time. You will eventually dig enough red worms that you won't need to buy them anymore, most likely, but that's a long way away. So it's not a waste to go ahead and purchase those red worms, especially when there's spots like this. But also remember winding. There's so many times where we spend a lot of time fishing a winding rivulet, mostly primarily using red worms. In fact, in this leveling series, there's been times when we haven't gone for the setup that would have made us the best, gotten us the best results, because we didn't want to always go through our red worms. So if I wasn't doing the 3 different hook sizes, 24, 22, 20 in this spot, again, we're here at 87, 87, 8 meter clip, just kind of casting straight south from here ish. But if I wasn't doing the different hook sizes, I would have regular worms on one of the rods right now. Last time we did this, we caught a trophy rough on the middle rod on regular worm. So red worm just feels like it's just slightly better bite rate, I think. Like you see this little movement. Try to wait till it's the actual bite, not just a nibble. You love to see the marker after marker coming out. That one's a sub marker. So if we go to rough, yeah. Well over half of them have been markers, more like 2/3 of them. We are at 83 fish. Once we get to about 95, if it's still looking like we're going to catch quite a few more, then we'll start, you know, go by weight and like delete a few. Those non-marker fish, unless you know you have a cafe order for them, they're worth very little. Now, every little bit helps, so don't delete them unless you need to. But, and there's another trophy rough caught in chat. So that's 3 trophy rough in a pretty short amount of time here. So let's see, they've gone 175, 143, and 142. So the trophies are getting bigger as we go. 62. Well, if that's a rough, we're on to something. I think that's only the second white bream. There was a white bream order, but it was for small ones. So unless that picks up a good bit, it's not going to help us. That helps us. It's 2 in the morning. What is that tench doing? Definitely noticing that the majority of, or some of the small non-marker rough, at least that we've caught here recently, came in on the first rod, which happens to be the smallest hook. So it's possible going 22s and maybe 20, but since we caught that trophy on the 22, I'm sort of feeling the 22 right now, but it's possible that take back everything, could be the way to go. So that's a 2 trophy night here on Ruffe. That's intense. Another white bream. All the white breams coming in on the size 20 hook. White breams do love 20s, so kind of interesting. This is, I don't know what this is. It's not a Ruffe. It's a perch. It's a 240 in the morning perch. It's 93 fish. All right. So let's look at, let's get rid of this and this, because we know we already did those orders for the undersized. Let's just try that many. You never know, like one of those undersized bleak orders could have popped up. That puts us down at 83 fish. Let's see if that gets us to the end. Another white bream. We're starting to get there on white bream now. It's pretty cool. We'll have to compare the white bream value versus the Ruffe value. You love to see it when picking it up doesn't actually mess up the nibble. Line 1 and 2 both were getting nibbles. Now line 3 actually has a Ruffe on it. Wait, is that a Ruffe? No, another small white bream. Well, there's no way around it. Those size 20 hooks are definitely hitting the white bream a little more effectively than the other ones. Unless there's something about the just that setup other than that, but there's another trophy Ruffe in chat. Is that number 5? I think that's 5. 5 trophy Ruffe in one night here. Looks like we've got 33 players, 34 players fishing here. We might make 100 silver just on Ruffe. Might be more than that actually. 2 trophies. I just feel like this isn't a Ruffe on this middle rod. We'll see, but still not on there. That really faked me out. Okay, it was. It was about to be on there. That's why it faked me out so much. It's a perch. So the sun's starting to come up. Are the perch going to be out this early? We probably want to give it a little bit more time just to see. probably another perch, right? It's doing the exact same thing it did last time. Some there, it's on somewhere. I guess it's here. Yeah, we got to be careful. This is our expensive hook too. I think we can turn the head right here. Yeah, we did. This is just going to be a decent perch is my guess. Yeah. Or roach, whichever. We're getting all kinds of wild fish all of a sudden. Oh, there's the perch. Back up to 90 fish. Come on. First of all, we need to hopefully get back on the small fish. We don't want to catch these big fish on these lines, like the perch and roach. Roach are kind of okay, but perch, the bigger perch can be quite aggressive. We are running like 2.3 fluorocarbon on these, most of these at least. Is that a gibble? Random gibble. Best case scenario is a white bream. The Ruffe have really died out. Look how long it's been. 3 whole minutes. But we'll see if that continues. I was thinking we would get them till about 7, but I might be wrong. Other species might be waking up and stealing the spotlight. There's a Ruffe. Doesn't look like a rough bite to me. That might be. Small one. One thing that we haven't seen much of that I thought we might see a little more of, the Chinese sleepers. We just had the one. They're definitely bycatch here. We talked about this last time we were fishing here. But some people are getting the like random trophy or really nice Chinese sleepers here, and we're just barely seeing them at all. All right, I think this is gonna convince me that we're finished here on trying to get rough in this spot. at this point. We'll get one more fish out of these two potentially, but it's just getting awfully perchy. The Ruffe don't have time to find it. That's what it seems like. And we're at 98. This is going to be 99 fish, which you love to see. Might be 99 fish. I'll be interested if there's like a throwaway perch cafe order or something. We might be able to hit one to increase how well we did overall. All right, let's go 98 fish. I'm fine with that. 35 red worms left. That was a red worm intensive session. Cut down on time here by traveling in this manner. So let's look at, we have spent a little bit because of getting those hooks, and I was going to look at red worm cost, but I mean, we have made a lot of silver in this last, it's 2 episodes, but it's really just been like one extended session here, about an hour and a half or a day and a half of fishing. So 207, I mean, especially if you're at the point that we're at, this is not a terrible idea. It's not ideal, but it's not terrible. I think that's gonna be in 2 rough nights. You're gonna make that up. Plus, you're gonna have a ton of red worms left. So I think that's the case. We'll see in just a second. But let's see what red worm stock at Mosquito looks like. Remember, you can always, if you're using a combination of like regular worms and red worms, you can always check out the bait box, because you get a lot of other valuable baits in there as well. So always worth considering this. Oh, never mind, you don't get red worms in there. I always forget that. You get so many of the basic baits, but you don't get red worms. So I just thought you did. My memory said you did, but this is better. So 300 red worms for only 104 silver. Again, I think you're going to make more than this in one night if the Ruffe are going pretty well like they were for us this time. But let's go check out that theory. Let's go see if I'm right on that. So during our session where we're fishing for Ruffe, I can't remember if that perch came. Anyway, 144 silver. So very good, very good. Remember last episode we started here with the Crucian Gibble section and we did 97, also really good. So that first night we did really well. Crucian Gibbles, we had the Gibble trophy. We also had some really nice bream. Remember, we were using garlic dough and semolina. And then during the day we did the bleak section, which is the first time we've seen the silver we made on bleak, and that's not bad either. I mean, frankly, we weren't super committed to this. We only did this for a little bit of time. Looks like about 12, 13 minutes. And we still made 46 silver. So that's bringing us to a grand total of 288 silver. Another fantastic session, or session and a half, however you want to look at it. Okay, so it looks like we can do this. Nope. Is that true that we are 1 perch off? So that's over 350. How much is that worth? 23, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It was going to bother me, but it doesn't bother me anymore. So that's 9 silver for that. We did not have the trophy white bream, though kind of flirting with it over there. Not worth it, I don't think, on the white bream, but we'll double check. Oh, look at this bleak order. 5 for 23 silver. So 23, 34... I mean, we're up over 300 silver if you count all the cafe orders we got in the last episode and this one. Let's check this white bream. So 5 for 13 silver, basically. White bream, 5. Yeah, it's worth it. So we'll go ahead and do the cafe order and do it for that. Get the maximum silver. We're up to 825. And believe it or not, once we sell these fish, what was the most expensive fish? Trophy Ruffe. 35 silver. That's awesome. That is awesome. And look at these regular Ruffe. 3-4 silver a pop on the bigger ones. Almost 7 on this one, non-trophy. We are now over 1,100 silver, folks. Mosquito in the last couple of sessions that we've had has just turned into such a good place to fish. We almost have enough for a Saber 60 right now. Obviously we don't have enough for a Caliber HSV, but I mean, it's not as far away as it normally feels. So, very cool, very fun, good fishing here at Mosquito. And we always love to see that it's possible to make that kind of silver even here on the first map. Okay, as always, thanks for watching. Tight lines, and I will see you again soon.